why everyone was on the film was we cared about the topic and we cared about what we were doing and the impact we were having, and we made sure that everyone working on the film had that same ethos, that same, goal. And I got an offer a few weeks ago from a streaming platform, and it was $80,000 for 3 years exclusive to their channel, and they would pay me installments over the next 3 years. And I was like, it's a $2.5 million film, and you want it for 3 years exclusive, so I can't have it anywhere else. No, we need to start valuing the artists, the producers, the people making the films, because they're taking the risk.
What project are you most proud of?
I think the film, Just a Farmer. Like it's had a big impact around Australia and the globe. It's quite weird to say that, but I think it's sort of had the biggest impact. So I guess that's why I'm most proud of it, because it's had an impact.
I knew you were going to say that.
Yeah.
I wanted to make a leeway to that topic. I'm like, I'm hoping she's going to say that.
Good segue.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was like, let me try.
Next time, man.
Good interviewer. Know your job.
Oh, that was terrible. Everyone knew what was going on.
Yeah.
The movie, right? It was quite ambitious.
Yeah.
I think quite a bit of money was invested in it.
Yep.
Quite a few life savings, I think, were invested in it.
Yeah, it was a bit
crazy. And it was I think money ran out and 10 days left or something. Everyone was going to be like, oh, should we pull out or something? I could only imagine that added a lot of stress. That probably affected mental health, right? What was going through your mind during that process, right? Let's talk at the start. What were you thinking?
Well,
to invest so much money.
I just didn't think it was going to cost as much as it did. To be honest, if I'd known what I was getting myself into, I would never have started. Like it has been a crazy adventure, but I wouldn't change it for the world. And just learning as I had just gone along and making stuff up and just thinking, well, I don't have another choice. It has to work. So how can I make it work?
We said earlier off camera that, we're finance people, and we touched briefly upon the finance of film.
Yeah.
So obviously for you, this would have been a massive experience.
Yeah.
Walk us through that, because I'm personally intrigued by how it all works behind the scenes.
Yeah.
Because in your role here, you're producer, director, actress, you're doing the whole thing, writer and all that kind of stuff. So who does what? And in your world, how did that all kind of gel together? Yeah.
So in the movie world, and I learnt it as going, the producer is the most important person. Like they bring the film together, create, they've got the last say on the creative side of it. They've got to find the money. They've got to find the team. They've got to, make sure that everyone's working properly. If anyone's got a problem, they come to the producer, like all those sorts of things. And I was probably doing a lot more. I wasn't outsourcing jobs because that would have been another expense to get another person to come in and do that. But if you had the money up front, I think making a film's easy. The making of the film is the easy part. But finding the finance and the marketing is probably the hardest part. And then we had some money to start with, and we got the movie started thinking, oh, this is what's going to cost us. And then, as you said, halfway through filming, we were like, crap, we've run out of money. And I think the fact that the reason why everyone was on the film was we cared about the topic and we cared about what we were doing and the impact we were having, and we made sure that everyone working on the film had that same ethos, that same, goal. So when we went to them and, some of the girls were saying, oh, maybe we just won't tell anyone we've run out of money and I'm like, we can't do that. It's not the type of people we are. And my husband, being the person he is, he said, no, you call a meeting, everyone's meeting in the marquee this afternoon, I'm going to tell everyone the truth. And he just stood up and he got quite emotional about it, and he just said, look, guys, we've run out of money for now. And he said, we're working on getting a loan. We're going to mortgage the farm to get the rest of the money. We will pay you. I'm a man of my word. I will pay you. And he's like, and if I can't, where my tractor is to go and sell it. So he's just, the last day of filming, the loan come in and we could pay everyone. But then after that, I had to go and find more money to get through post-production. God. And I just sort of went everywhere and just lost all shame in asking people, because I really believed in the message. And that's why I say to people say, oh, what would you say to young producers? If your heart's not in it, don't start.
Yeah.
Because if I didn't believe in what we were doing, I would have given up for sure. So we were 1 week out. Well, we were going into the premiere, and I didn't have enough money to pay for the music rights. And my mentor, David Gregory, who is an amazing human, and I wouldn't have made it through without him. He's just an absolute godsend, and he's freaking out. He's like, where are we going to get this money from? If we don't have it, you can't go to cinema. Like, you can't release the film because we don't have the music rights. I'm not even entertaining that thought. The money will come from somewhere. And week before we went to cinema, Thomas Foods, which is an abattoir company, came in and gave us $250,000 to get us over the line. And I was like, oh my God, like everything was just synchronicity. Everything just worked. And so, yeah, we ended up having to find $2.5 million to make the film.
I'm hoping you made your money back.
We're nearly there. And now that we're on Apple, we hope that it'll...
Oh, you're on Apple?
Yeah, as
So
of like 2
watch
days
it.
ago.
Okay.
2 days ago, yeah. So hopefully it'll really get out to the population now.
Yeah. So one is obviously making the film, one is distribution.
Yeah.
How do you go about getting the right people, speaking to the right distribution channels, preferring one channel over another? Because a lot of these guys are competitive as well.
Yeah.
And they want exclusivity and all that kind of stuff. And you're like, you know what, I'm so desperate to try and make my money back.
Yeah.
But I don't want to, out of desperation, make a bad deal that shortchanges us. And how do you navigate all that?
Yeah, and that's been a massive learning curve. And also, I'm very lucky to have two amazing mentors that, you know, are like, no, you got to stick to your guns and value your product and value you and learn how to negotiate. And, you know, had I not had them, I would have just probably taken any deal anywhere. But there's distributors, so they're like a middleman between me and getting into cinema or onto streaming services. And we went to a few at the start to get into cinema, and like some of the things they'd say is like, oh, no one cares about farmers, no one wants to see a film about farmers. I was like, oh, okay.
It's like straight out like
Yeah,
that.
straight out. Yeah,
Wow,
straight
okay.
up. You could tell they didn't even take the time to watch the film. They'd be like, oh, no, it's not good enough quality. I'm like, you literally haven't watched the movie. And then I thought, okay, well, if you're not going to distribute it, then I'm going to do it myself. So I literally rang every cinema in the country and got it into cinemas myself. So I got it into 80 cinemas across the country, and we did really well considering we were given 10 a.m. time slots or whatever, but normally a producer can't do that. But it's the message. Everyone was like, this is really a worthwhile film, blah, blah, blah. And they supported us. The actual cinemas supported us. The distributors didn't. And then after cinema, you're like, okay, now how do I get it onto a streaming platform? And then no streamers would take us, so we built our own streaming platform. It's a bit clunky and it's hard to navigate, but we did it ourselves because we're like, how are we get it out there? And now, yeah, and then sort of once it gets momentum and people start talking and then they'll take us seriously. You know, like we've won awards overseas, and overseas is taking it seriously internationally, but Australia wouldn't. And now that we're in the actors next week, the actor awards and different things, people are starting to come on board and different things. And I got an offer a few weeks ago from a streaming platform, and it was $80,000 for 3 years exclusive to their channel, and they would pay me installments over the next 3 years. And I was like, it's a $2.5 million film, and you want it for 3 years exclusive, so I can't have it anywhere else. No.
Yeah.
I was like, sorry, see you later.
Stan would do.
That's a real low
well, I
ball.
won't say who it was. It wasn't Stan. But I was just like, no, like we need to start valuing the artist, the producers, the people making the films, because they're taking the risk. But they like try and say that they're the ones taking the risk. It's like, no, you're not. You've got people subscribing to your channel. Like you hold the power. We need to shift that power dynamic. So it's if I'm the first producer to stand up and say no, then I'll be that person. And hopefully we can, get a group together where we just all start going, no, we need to. And that's what farmers need to do too. As I was saying before, like streaming platforms and distributors are almost the Coles and Woolies of the film industry. They sort of take no risk, but they'll take anything at a cheap price and sell it for, way over and make the consumers pay for it.